August 2015, Geometry Common Core, Regents Exam, Part 2. Answer all 7 questions in this part. Each correct answer will receive 2 credits. Clearly indicate the necessary steps, including appropriate formulas, substitutions, diagrams, graphs, charts, etc. Utilize the information provided for each question to determine your answer. Note that diagrams are not necessarily drawn to scale. For all questions in this part, a correct numerical answer with no work shown will receive only 1 credit. All answers should be written in pen except for graphs and drawings, which should be done in pencil. This is for a total of 14 points. Number 25, a wooden cube has an edge length of 6 centimeters. So we know that a cube has equal sides and a mass of 137.8 grams. Anytime we're talking about mass, typically deals with density, so we know that's m divided by v. Determine the density of the cube to the nearest thousandths. I already did the formula for that. State which type of wood the cube is made of using the density table below. So we're looking for the density. I'm going to take the mass, which is 137.8, and divide it by the volume, which is the length of the side cubed. So 6 cubed. That's equal to D. D is equal to 0.638, and that would make this an ash cube. It's pretty obvious I can't use a compass on here in order to complete this construction, so please check your notes from the beginning of the school year in order to create or construct an equilateral triangle inscribed in this circle. Number 27, to find the distance across the pond from point B to point C, a surveyor drew the diagram below. The measurements he made are indicated on his diagram. Use the surveyor's information to determine and state the distance from point B to point C to the nearest yard. So we're looking for x, and I'm going to use the whole side of AE over ED, so 230 over 120, and I'm going to set up a proportion so that's equal to the whole entire side of AC over BC. So the sum of 230 and 85 is 315, so that's what I get here. So x is equal to 120 times 315 divided by 230. And to the nearest yard, we get 164 yards. Number 28, in parallelogram ABCD shown below, diagonals AC and BD intersect at E. Prove angle ACD is congruent to angle CAB. Okay, in order to prove angles congruent, we need to show, or attempt to show, that the triangles are congruent and then the angles are congruent by CPCTC. So I'm going to start with the given information. I'm going to set up my statements and reasons. So we have a parallelogram. ABCD. And we have diagonals that intersect. And we know in a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. So we can say that AD is parallel to BC, and DC is parallel to AB, because in a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel. So as a result of having parallel lines, so let's go with DC and AB, we have transversal AC, and we can make the conclusion that angle ACD is congruent to angle CAB as being alternate interior angles formed by parallel lines in a transversal are congruent. So we didn't even have to show that the triangles are congruent and then the angles are congruent as a result of CPCTC. You could have done that. You could have gone in that direction, but this one seems like the easiest direction to go after all. Number 29, triangles RST and XYZ are drawn below. If RS is equal to 6, ST is equal to 14, and XY is equal to 9, YZ is equal to 21, and angle S is congruent to angle Y, is triangle RST similar to triangle XYZ? Justify your answer. Okay, so we have RS equal to 6. Let's assign that. XY is 9. YZ is 21. And angle S is congruent to angle Y. And ST is equal to 14. I forgot to put that in there. So, using or looking at corresponding sides and angles, ST does correspond to ZY, and SR does correspond to YX. So if we set this up as 14 over 6, and 21 over 9, and if we get the product of these two, product of the means equal to the product of the extremes, then we can say that the two triangles are in fact similar. So 126 is in fact equal to 126, so these triangles are similar. RST is similar to triangle XYZ by means of side, angle, side. Number 30, in the diagram below, triangle ABC and triangle XYZ are graphed. Use the properties of rigid motions to explain why triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ. This transformation applied is a rotation, and a rotation is definitely a rigid motion. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ because the transformation is a rotation, which is a rigid motion. Number 31, the endpoints of DEF are D14 and F1614. Determine and state the coordinates of point E if DE to EF is 2 to 3. So the sum of 2 and 3 is equal to 5, so we're going to put this over 5. So the way in which we find what the coordinates of E are in terms of this ratio, a 2 to 3 ratio, we take the value of x from the first endpoint, which is 1, and we add that to the ratio of 2/5 times the difference of the x values, which is 16 minus 1. And then for the y value, we take the y value of the first endpoint, which is 4, add that to 2/5 times the difference of the y values, so 14 minus 4, and we get 8 for y and 7 for x. So the point E is 7, 8.